Do you look at Brexit, at the politics here, as being a threat to the confidence that's needed to invest?
Yeah, I think we've actually heard that over the last couple of months, that CFOs and CEOs across Europe are saying that the Brexit uncertainty is one of the reasons why they have been holding back on investment. So that's already kind of playing out. I think that that factor certainly should not be underestimated. And I would argue that even if we feel that, OK, this Brexit uncertainty is going to be resolved if we have some clarity from the UK Parliament in the next couple of days, it is not a degree of comfort in the corporate sector that's going to be so elevated that things are going to go back to normal. There's some damage that's done here in all scenarios, and we should not forget that.
Jens, your book was exceptionally prescient on the turmoil of a Europe without a fiscal plan. Wolfgang Munchau was just on with us talking about how messed up the fiscal story of Europe is. Is that an immediate need to jumpstart economic growth? Do you look in 2019 for Europe to get its fiscal act together?
Yeah, I think if you take a step back and think about, OK, what's sort of the remaining issue that remains in the Eurozone structure, it is the lack of fiscal capacity. We can see it very clearly now. We have a situation where the ECB is very, very close to being maxed out. They essentially tried to deliver another round of stimulus with the LTROs at the last ECB meeting. But when we look ahead, what does the ECB really have left? We already have negative interest rates. They really don't want to do QE again after just having ended it. So we're sort of left in a limbo where ECB policy doesn't have much room, and fiscal policy is really what would be the most effective way to deal with a downturn. And there's some countries that have done something, right? We have some response to the protests in France. Obviously, the Italian government has done something, but it's not been coordinated. And because it's not been coordinated, it's something that has less impact on confidence. And I think that's the sort of missed opportunity here.
Jens, talk to me a little bit about Brexit. If there is a no-deal Brexit, and I don't know whether that's a 20% chance if it's lower in your eyes, would that be a systemic risk for both the Eurozone and the UK?
So I think that the hard Brexit clearly is something that would move markets significantly. Euro sterling would go dramatically higher, and cable would also be dramatically affected. I don't think there's any doubt about that. The probability that people in the market attached to that event is still pretty low. It's certainly not priced at this point in time. The bigger question, I think, is whether the Brexit process would have sort of broader systemic issues for the Eurozone. And I think actually the experience that we saw after the vote was a good example that we had 24 hours of panic, and we did have a very outsized move in UK assets, including sterling, but we didn't have anything that looked like a sort of financial crisis dynamic in the Eurozone overall. And I think that would still be the case in the sense that this is mostly a trade shock, it's a confidence shock, but it's not something that would really put key banks into jeopardy and so forth. So from that perspective, I think it's different from a systemic perspective.